Welcome to Story Time with Katina. Today's story is The Prince and the Pea. Once upon a time there was a prince. When he grew up, he wanted to marry another prince, but he wanted him to be a real prince. The prince went all over the world looking for a real prince whom he could marry. The prince met many other princes, but there was always something the matter with them. One was too tall, another was too small, one was too sad, and another was too gay. Somehow or other, not one of the princes was just right. The prince was never quite sure if they were real princes or not. At last, the prince came home again. He was very sad because he did want to marry a real prince. Then, one night, there was a terrible storm. The lightning flashed, the thunder roared, the wind blew, and the rain poured down. In the middle of the storm, there was a knock at the door of the castle. The old king went to open the door. There, standing outside in the pouring rain, was a lovely man. He might have been a prince, but he was so wet it was difficult to tell. "Oof!" he shouted as there was a huge clap of thunder. As he stood there, the king looked. His hair was so wet that the water from it was running down his face. His clothes were so wet that the water was pouring out of them. His shoes were so wet that the water was running in at the toes and out at the heels. The king led the new prince into the castle, out of the wind and rain. "Oof!" he exclaimed as there was another clap of thunder. As he stood there in a pool of water, all he could say was, "I am a real prince." The prince of the castle could not believe his ears when he heard him say, "I'm a real prince." The old queen heard him say, "I'm a real prince." "We'll see about that," thought the old queen, but she did not say anything. While the prince was being bathed and dried and dressed in dried clothes, the queen went to see about a bedroom for him. The queen had all the bedclothes taken off the bed. Then she put a pea under the mattress. Then more mattresses were put on top until there were 20 mattresses on top of the pea. Then the queen had 20 feather beds piled on top of the 20 mattresses. "Now we shall find out if you are a real prince," said the queen to herself. When the prince was warmed and fed, the queen led him to the bedroom and tucked him into bed. In the morning, the old queen went to see the prince. "How did you sleep, my dear?" she asked him. "Oh, dreadfully," replied the prince. "I hardly slept a wink all night." "What was the matter?" asked the old queen. "I do not know what was in the bed," replied the prince, "but there was something hard in it. And now I'm black and blue all over." Then the queen knew that this was a real prince, because he had felt that pea through 20 mattresses and 20 feather beds. Only a real prince could be as tender as that. The prince of the castle was filled with joy when the old queen told him that they had indeed found a real prince. Now the queen had the pea taken out of the bed so that the poor prince could sleep well. A wedding was arranged between the prince and the other prince. Then there was great joy in the castle. As for the pea, it was placed in a museum. It may still be there if no one has taken it away. The end.